Okay, so yesterday I watched Season 3, Episode 2 of Chucky, and Season 45, Episode 3 of Survivor. So starting with Chucky, I'm disappointed. You know, I thought I knew Charles Lee Ray. I thought I understood what he stood for. I thought I understood his platform. But he doesn't like fucking pancakes. I don't know if he's a waffle guy, understandable. I don't know if he's a French toast guy, not as understandable. Like, I like French toast fine, but like I'm a pancake guy. I love pancakes. I generally like all three, but it's just that line early on in the episode where it's like, oh well, why doesn't Joseph eat his pancakes? He doesn't like fucking pancakes. I got a really good laugh out of that. So, our main trio of Jake, Devin, and Lexi, again, they're trying to get to Chucky. They're also trying to find Lexi's little sister. What was her name? I want to say it's, like, Samantha? No, it's fucking Carolyn, isn't it? I don't know why the fuck I said Samantha. Yeah, it's Carolyn or Caroline. I think it's Caroline. That sounds far more accurate than Samantha. But the three of them are trying to figure out where she is. We still have not seen Tiffany or Jennifer Tilly, but it looks like the next time on Chucky show, Jennifer Tilly's like, all right, we're going to get her back. We might see Caroline in that next episode as well. But the trio is getting close to the White House through Grant. Grant is the older son who looks like a younger version of the lead singer of Green Day. No idea if the actor is related. I think it's Billy Joe Armstrong. It's either Billy Joe or Billy Joel Armstrong. I want to say it's Billy Joel. That sounds more accurate, but that might just be because I'm thinking of Billy Joel, who's a completely separate person who I most know Billy Joel from Oliver and Company, weirdly enough. But regardless, he looks a lot like the lead singer of Green Day. And he has a conversation with his mom where he's like, you know, I like these kids. You know, he particularly has a thing for Lexi, who's like kind of seducing him. Like, isn't she like 15? Like, I mean, I guess they're about the same age. I'm like, this is an interesting strategy, but I guess if it works, like, you gotta find your sister and you gotta kill Chucky. Again, for real this time, we promise. But that's what they're trying to do. And he's like, you know, Mom, like, these kids seem real. Like, you know, most of the kids that I know, you know, they're also rich kids. They're kind of spoiled. They haven't gone through real shit. These people have, and I can feel the authenticity. Which, he's not wrong, but also it's like, hey, these people are deceiving him, but he can feel their authenticity. Like, that's kind of funny. So, his mom, who again is the first lady, is wants to have a meeting with their guardian, who I can never remember her name, but it's the teacher. And there's a scene where Lexi and the teacher come back home right as Jake and Devin are starting to get it on. So they're 2 for 2 and getting cock-blocked, which does lead to a really funny scene where she's like, okay, I want to make sure when you have sex, like, it's safe, you know, like, should I tell you all about penetration? Like, oh gosh, that's so awkward. It's so hilariously awkward. It was fantastic. But she goes to the White House. She talks to the First Lady, but the First Lady gets a call from, I'm not exactly sure who he was, because there were some bits of the episode that I unfortunately missed. But it seems like his job is I don't know if he's like a CIA or an FBI guy, but he's essentially like, investigating the murder. They think it's a suicide. We know it's a murder. They're investigating the Secret Service officers and their agent's death from the last episode. And he tells her, like, looking at the diagnostics and the angle, blah, 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 this does not look like it was a suicide. It looks like it was a murder. It looks like it was a professional. We need to be careful about this. Then they get a call from Chucky, being like, well, since you like cleaning up after me, I left you something. I don't know why I tried to give him a Mr. Krabs laugh, or that was a terrible Chucky impression. I feel like I'm capable of better. I don't know what the fuck that was. But he's like, yeah, like I killed someone else, fuck you. Because the person he killed was their teacher. Where she's sitting there in the room. I don't believe that was the Oval Office. It was just like a room, and she's just kind of sitting in a chair. And then a flag goes around her head, and he strangles her with a flag. He's like, I couldn't resist making them orphans again. You're like, you fucking bastard. But he strangled her with an American flag. Then when the First Lady and that dude go in, like, he killed her with a flag, you know, this is a sign. He's, you know, he's going to keep killing people, you know, he's going to keep killing America's government and shit. I'm like, no, I think he just thought it was funny. He just took what was available. I'm like, that's a creative way to kill somebody. Not necessarily strangulation, but using the American flag. Like, oh, there's going to be some fun fucking visuals in season 3. I also have to say, Grant's gonna fucking die. You know, being the 4th member of this, like, friend group of teenagers did not save Junior in season 1. Especially being close to Lexi, because it did not save Nadine in season 2, and that was heartbreaking. I fucking loved Nadine. So I'm like, yeah, your days are numbered, Bucko. I'm sorry. I don't know what Chucky's gonna do with Henry. I don't know if he's gonna try to take the body, if he's gonna fucking kill him, or he's just like, you're just my tool to get to the president. If he's gonna try to take over the president's body, because that sounds like something Charles Lee Ray would want to do. But after he kills the teacher, he FaceTimes the main trio to be like, hey, I killed her, you're orphans again. And as fucked up as it is to say, like, it's kind of a fun scene. It's just whenever Chucky is on screen just doing shit. The show was great. Because I remember saying that, like, the first few episodes of season 1. Because I think the first few episodes of season 1 are okay, but it gets a lot better as it goes. Really, once I got, like, a better grasp of the main characters, and I felt like the actors got also kind of a better grasp of the characters, like, everything seemed to improve from, like, it was episode 3 or 4 onwards. But I remember those first few episodes, I was like, it's okay. But when Chucky is doing shit, it's great. Now it's, like, consistently really good, but Chucky is still the best part of it, and I had a really good time with it. Do I have anything else to really say? Nothing else about that episode. Like I said, I'm just disappointed that he doesn't like fucking pancakes. Going into Survivor. This episode was wonderful. Last week's episode was also wonderful. What do you know? 90-minute fucking episodes are wonderful. Having time. I mean, seeing the intro, that's just nostalgic. I fucking love that. But, like, really having time to see the group dynamics, getting to know... Oh, sorry, but Bahamut left, like, a big chunk of hair behind, so I wanted to take that off the bed. Getting to know the tribe dynamics and shit. Like, the whole thing about Drew and Austin, it's like, okay, like, we've got a foursome... I didn't like the way I said that. We have a strong group of 4 also with Dee and I believe Julie is her name. It's the 4 of us and the 2 of them with Jay and Shifu on the outside. But it's really the 2 of us because Austin has the idol and Drew knows about it. So they were being sneaky and the girls caught them. And they're like, we're going to salvage this as best as possible. And essentially the girls' reaction was... We don't know how much, like, there still are guys, but there was some shady shit going on. We can tell they were being shady. We didn't like that. But then they do come forth about the idol. They're like, I mean, we're not going to tell them when we found the idol, or like when I found the Beware Advantage, but I am letting them know that I did find it. I'm just saying I found it later. To save face, but also be like, all right, if we are a 4, you guys got to know about this. So they work together and they get the idol. And idols work differently now. So what it is, when you get the idol after all your tasks, it is good for that next tribal. If you sacrifice your vote, it will be good essentially until the merge. Then, but if you risk your vote twice... then it will be good until the final 5. So again, there's risk and reward with idols, which I like. It nerfs them considerably. There's a lot more gamesmanship with them, which I do think makes them more interesting. It's like you can't just rely on idols to get you through the game anymore. I like that a lot. There was a reward challenge in which the Lulu losers actually won. And as part of that, like, they got to raid a camp, they went to Red, stole their fishing gear. But Caleb, who was the representative that went, was given a goodwill advantage, which says you have to give this to another player, where if they were to lose their vote, they can vote anyways, which, I like the concept of, like, here's an advantage to give somebody to foster some goodwill, and the fact that there's a lot of shit that can make you risk your vote. It's kind of interesting that there's a way to circumvent that. 2, I don't like that Caleb had to give it. I like the idea where it's like, look, go here, talk to people, get information, raid them of their shit. But if there's someone you vibe with, you can make a bond. But I kind of like the idea that it's like, if he went and he's like, I don't really like any of them, I don't trust any of them, I'm not giving them anything. I kind of would have liked that too. Like, I don't like it when Survivor forces twists. Well, excuse me, like, let me give you an example. The fact that they're like, all right, go to Shipwheel Island and stuff, I don't mind that. And the prisoner's dilemma aspect, I think, is kind of interesting. But I believe it was last season where it was like, okay, you have to draw, and if you draw the wrong tile, you're just completely fucked. That I don't like. You should to me, that's super important in Survivor, to always have a choice. That's what makes Rocks so important. Rocks is specifically designed where if you can't come to a decision will be made for you, and you no longer have power. Your fate is not in your hands. It is up to RN Jesus. So here's something you can do to foster goodwill with someone. I like that, but I think it should be a may, not a must. But that's me personally. But he gives it to Drew, who's like, cool, I can now give this to Austin so Austin can vote because he hadn't found the idol yet. But now that he has the idol, I'm like, so does that mean he can say, because of my idol, I'm sacrificing my vote, but because of goodwill, I get to vote anyways? Or is it, no, like, if you're sacrificing your idol vote, like, you just can't vote at all? I am assuming he can vote anyways, but when you have kind of conflicting things, like, I just want to understand, because this is not a situation where he does not have a vote. This is a situation where he is choosing to give it up. So can I choose to give it up, but then restore it? Or is it just like, no, you're fucked? I don't know. That can be kind of a problem when you have so many different advantages that do specific things. You're like, well, how do these two interact? Like, here's an example. Like, if someone has a steal a vote, and then someone else has safety without power, we're like, I'm just gonna dip. So, would you steal that person's vote, and then the person leaves, and it's like, you just kind of have an extra vote, there's no problem? Or is it, I took their vote, well, now they're gone, so their vote goes with them, so your advantage was wasted? Or would you just kind of get to steal someone else's vote? I'm not a hundo how all that works. It's one of those where it's like the gamesmanship part of me is like, I'm very interested to know this interaction. Like, something I've always wanted to know is, in a 3-man tribal council, what happens in a tie? And I don't mean what happened in Ghost Island, where there's a tie between 2 people and the third person becomes the final member of the jury, though I've always wanted to know that too, and I was really excited to see it happen. Because very often, there were 9-person juries, and it would be like a 5-4, or like a 7-2, or like something like that kind of vote. But it's like, no, if there's 9 people, which they don't do anymore, it's always like 10 or more, and you got 3 people, what if it's 3-3-3? It is a tie. No bullshit, there was no person in 3rd place. All 3 people have 3 votes. I have no idea what the fuck would have happened. Would they have re-voted? Would it have been like, oh, well, fuck it, now you guys gotta play like fire making? I don't know what would have happened. It would have been super fucking fascinating. Because you can't send one of them to the jury because they're all even. Anyways, those are like the new idol rules. That's what was happening. Essentially, that's what happened on red. On blue, it is girls rule, boys drool. But within that, it really comes down to, I believe it's Kelly and Brando are really close and feel like they're in the middle. But then Kendra and Jake started bonding, and it didn't necessarily be like, okay, now we feel like we're in the middle, but it's also like, we actually like each other quite a bit. Not like a showman. It's not like, Matt and, was it Matt was his name? I believe it was Matt and Franny. It's not like that. It was like, hey, we're seeming to bond too. Maybe we can make a thing. And then the other two are Katura and Bruce, who just hates Bruce. And Bruce seems completely neutral on her, which was, it's really funny just how much she seems to despise Bruce. It really does feel like a sitcom thing. It's great. We're like, okay, it looks like the tribal dynamics on this one are getting a little more interesting and a little more complicated, but there wasn't much else to their tribe going on in this episode. And then our Lulu losers. So Emily kind of immediately notices, like, wait a second. Brandon went home after 2 votes. I know he didn't have a vote, so 4 other people should have voted. 2 vote. Did only 3 people vote? Like, 2 would be a majority if there's 3 people. Someone else didn't have a vote. Sabaya, did you not have a vote? No, I totally had a vote. She's like, okay, like, that's weird, while thinking in her head, as she says in the confession, like, okay, someone's lying to me. Someone didn't have a vote. And what was really funny is Sabaya, like, as soon as Tribal is done, like, has a confession about, like, you know what? I'm kind of glad that we're moving forward with Emily. You know, I've had my problems with her, but we can kind of let bygones be bygones. And then Emily's like, wait a second, did you not have a vote? What the fuck? And then I think in the next confessional, she was like, well, looks like Emily and I are a problem again, which I thought was kind of fun. But they won the reward challenge. Caleb is sent away. Like, they choose, like, Caleb, you're going to be our representative. And then Sabaya's like, Caleb's a threat. Caleb's, you know, he's a super nice guy. He's really good at, like, articulating himself. Very intelligent, very charismatic. He's good in challenges. Caleb's a threat down the line. He's not the kind of person I want to sit next to at the final 3. Maybe the 3 of us, me, Sean, and you, Emily, can, like, get together and vote him out and blindside him. And Sean listens to this and goes, sure, dog, I'm all for it. And Emily is listening to this going like, yeah, I'm totally down, that sounds great. While saying in confessional, A, this is great because it means I get to stick around in the game because they're going to take him out. But B, he's my ally. He is like the only person who, after, you know, the shit that happened in the first tribal, reached out to me and wanted to work with me. I don't want to get rid of him. Like, he saved my ass. I would like to do the same. Now, maybe I shouldn't because they're right. He's a threat, but I don't know about this. And I'm sitting here thinking, again, armchair quarterbacking. But I'm sitting here going, why are you thinking about endgame threats on, like, day 5? We haven't hit the merge yet. We've only had 2 tribal councils. Maybe it's just me personally. I'm like, it is way, way too early to be thinking about that. What you should be thinking about right now, and again, armchair quarterback scenario, but it's like, what I think you should be thinking about is, who are the people that I vibe with? Who are the people that I trust, that I feel like I have good relationships with, that will carry me further into the game? Once you've hit the merge, especially like a few rounds in, then really start thinking, who do I consider a threat? How do I get rid of them while still moving forward in the game? It's way too early to be thinking about shit like that. But Caleb comes back, and they don't really talk about any of this. And then there's a point where Sabaya does tell Emily about the item. She's like, I kind of got to let her know, blah, 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 blah. So we get to immunity. The Lulu losers are actually looking pretty well. The blue team is doing pretty well, and the red team was, like, really falling behind. But then red still won the challenge and got first anyways, and then blue was not far behind because our beloved Lulu losers were just, they completely fell apart at the puzzle yet again. They're going back to tribal. So Sabaya is talking to Caleb, and she's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Like, it's Emily. No problem. No question. Well, what are we going to tell Emily? We'll probably just tell Emily that it's you. But, like, don't worry. Like, you're fine. Caleb's like, all right. But Spy's like, all right, this is what's going to happen. Me, Sean, and Emily are going to vote out Caleb. We're going to blindside him. I don't have a vote. We still don't have fire, but I'm going to bring my idol to tribal council and put it in the fire immediately. And hopefully we spend a long time talking so that shit can melt and I get my vote back. Bet. So Emily then goes to Caleb and she's like, okay, Caleb, this is what's happening. They want to blindside you. They told me all this shit. Here's what I think we should do. Because I really want to work with you and like you stuck your neck out for me. I don't want to blindside you and vote you out. We should vote out Sabaya. She's the one who's planning this. Clearly you can't trust her. You and me, like I am writing her name down. 100%. If you join me, that'll be 2 votes against her. If Sabaya gets her vote back, then it would probably be 2 votes against you, and then we might have to do rocks or something. If she doesn't get her vote back, it'll be 2 for Sabaya, and then like one for you from Sean, and then she's gone. Let's do this. And you get Caleb's perspective, which is, I trust Emily, and I want to work with her. But I trust Sabaya too. And she specifically told me that I am Emily's decoy. So, Emily saying that Sabaya is turning on me, it might not necessarily be true. But also, the fact that she's coming to me and letting me know because she wants to work with me, I do still appreciate that. Because like she could have just been like, yeah, fine, I'm voting you out to further herself in the game. It's like, I like that. How do I really want to play this? So you go to tribal and Sabaya just immediately puts the fucking wax in there. There was a lot of jokes, like both in the episode and online, of her just like stoking the fire, like just Sabaya at the grill cooking the wax, which was funny as fuck. I loved it. You could see Jeff just kind of having a great time watching this shit. Like, you know, they're talking about like the tribe dynamics, whatever Sabaya is doing, blah, 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 blah. It does melt. She sets it down. She's like, I don't want to touch it while it's super hot. And then, you know, she gets it and goes to go vote, like, once it's time to vote. So she gets her vote back. She opens her idol and reads the thing that Austin read, which is like, okay, it's only good for tonight unless you sacrifice your vote. So she's sitting there going like, okay, if I don't vote, Sean is voting Caleb. Emily is voting Caleb. Caleb will vote for Emily. I don't need my vote. And like if Caleb plays a shot in the dark, but he has no reason to. If Emily were to play her shot in the dark, like maybe she would and be like 1-1. Like it's not a huge problem. Gucci. So she sits back down. Like, you kind of see her going through it, but you don't actually know what she did, but you can kind of infer it. So she sits down, like, I'll read the vote. First vote, Sabaya, which we saw Emily write down. Next vote, Caleb. So you know that's Sean, because you know Caleb didn't vote for himself. And it's like, okay. It's like, well, who did Caleb vote for? Either he voted for Sabaya, and she's gone, or he voted for Emily, and it's 1-1-1, which will lead to some fun shit. And it's like, okay. Next person vote out, so it is Sabaya. And it's like, Caleb voted Sabaya. He stuck with Emily. Sabaya got blindsided with the idol in her pocket. And she's like, damn, you got me there. Good shit. No bullshit. Takes it like a champ. And it was a lot of fun. And she has a really nice confessional after, too. But like, I just want to see, was there anything else from the episode that I wanted to bring up? Yeah, no, that was it. This was a fun episode. This was a really fun episode. On the one hand, there's the part of me that goes like, okay, Lulu feel like the main characters this season because they're the ones that keep losing, so they keep going to tribal. So of course they feel like the main characters. We've seen the most of them. The other part of me goes, this is the new Matt Singh, or like this is the new Tika, which was the new Matt Singh. Where it's like, yeah, the winner did come from Matt Singh, the winner did come from Tika. Like the Tika 3 and that Matt Singh duo were incredibly important in 44 and Philippines, respectively. So is this going to be something similar? It's like when it comes to blue, it doesn't feel like the blue tribe is as important. Which, granted, look at Survivor 41. The winner can still come from there. We still have some, like, growing relationships there. It feels like Drew is a major character because he's getting a lot of screen time, which means he's either a very major player or he's being hyped up early and then, like, he's the merge boot or something. But it really feels like Emily and Caleb are kind of the stars of the season. And if that actually happens and they like end up becoming like the main duo of the season, I'd be really excited. I am loving Emily and Caleb. Oh, I also have to say, they showed next week on Survivor is going to be a swap. We have not had a swap in this new era. I am so fucking excited. I love a good swap and how it can like really fuck with the dynamics, and then alliances can get reshuffled, and like it's Survivor, you got to adapt. How do you adapt to a new situation and new people? It's always a lot of fun. But the fact that we've had 4 seasons in a row without a swap has felt very stale. Like, okay, we know how a lot of these tribal dynamics are going and nothing's really changing, or here's the tribe that's always losing. So, I mean, like, there's nothing to really, like, explore. It's like, I want to see shit get shuffled. I'm really fucking happy to see it. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope I say the 2 Lulu losers, but there's 3. There's also Sean. Like, Sean seems fine. But it seems like it is Emily and Caleb's story from that tribe. I really hope they stick around for a while. I'm excited to watch more. I'm excited for another 90 minutes of Survivor next week and more Chucky too. I just wish he liked pancakes.